afternoon from the farmer's garden. I'm one of the farmers and I'm out by the garden in the yard right now. So we are currently getting ready to plant our cole crops. So broccolis, cauliflower, cabbage, that sort of thing. And we're doing them in the yard because we still don't have the well situation worked out at the farm. We had already planted one planting and then some direct seed, I think is what it was. I think that's what we did out there. And they're just not doing well because it's so dry. So we are doing them in the yard where we can water them. I know we had a lot of issues with our water and with growing things here over the summer, but these are things that we did grow here last fall and over the winter, and they did well. So we're hoping that whatever it is in our soil or our water, because we haven't got those tests yet, we're hoping that that is something that these plants are a little bit more hardy against, and so we're going to give it a shot. So Brandon has been breaking up the ground, and he's currently hooking up to our plastic layer, our mulch layer, and we'll do that, and that gets these into black plastic, and that lets them make better use of the heat that we do get, and hopefully survive any cold snaps and all that stuff better. Now these are cold crops, so they are more cold hardy than summer vegetables. Yeah, that's where we're at. So I'm going to show you the dirt, and I'm going to show you he's getting ready to play around a little bit with the mulch layer before we actually add the mulch and the drip tape and that sort of thing. Mommy. Okay, so like all equipment, every time you get out a piece of equipment, you have to make those kind of readjustments if you haven't used them in a while. And so that's where we're at here. This is plowed up, disced up, and then we're just getting ready to lay in the plastic. I think Brandon's hoping to go over it a couple times, just make sure everything's working well, and then we'll add the plastic and the drip tape. All right, so this is the mulch layer we're going to be using. We got this in the end of last year, end of 2021, and we didn't get a chance to use it earlier in the year because we didn't have a way to irrigate, and so we didn't want to cover the rows. So actually this is our first time using it with row cover. So what we've got is the plastic sheeting. This will come down and go under this roller bar, and then come down and go under these wheels that will be sitting on the ground, and those will push it down. These will come behind and shove dirt over the plastic. And while all of that is happening, the drip tape will be rolling from here under that to be going under the plastic. And all of that, I hope you can hear me over the tractor. All of that will be going into a row that will end up shaped like this. So this was our test run. What happens is so the drip tape would go first. It'll be on there, down the center, hi Spunk. And then it will be the plastic over that. Down in this part, those sweeps were not on the first time, so those sweeps are on now, and they will be shoving this dirt in over that edge of the plastic to hold it down, and then the crops can go in that, and this prevents weeds. And the black will also keep it warmer in the winter, allowing for better growth. All right, so we're getting ready to lay another row. I was just going to show you what this looks like on the end before we get started. So here's the roll going down. It goes under that roller. Then it comes down here. It is under this wheel. Comes out the back, and then this end is buried. And then this is the drip tape that's coming through underneath all of that. So it's drip tape, goes down and under. The plastic goes on top. So Brandon's going to take off super duper slow. Super duper slow, and we're going to see if we can do this one right this time. Slow. And he's going to go extra slow because I'm standing in the middle of it. All right, so what happens is as he pulls, the dirt from the sides goes over. You can see that. And it begins to bury the edges of that, so those wheels are holding it down. Those sweeps are pulling the dirt up, and the end result is a covered row that we can plant into and not have as many weeds, and also it will stay warmer because of the black, which I've said like half a dozen times. So yeah, fairly straightforward process. It takes a little bit to set up on each end, and then when you get to the other side, you cut it, you bury that in just like this, and turn around and start all over again. So we've got 2 done so far. I'm not really sure how many will fit across here, but it's looking good so far. All right, there she is. We managed to get 6 rows this evening, different lengths. We didn't have the disc here to really disc it up as good as we would have liked. So that's part of why parts of them are shorter. They were still too compacted to do it well. But that gets us enough space for all our cole crops: broccoli, cauliflower, collards, cabbage, that sort of thing. And then we are thinking we may expand it this direction as well. So this is currently a fairly shaded area, but these are all deciduous trees, so they'll be losing those leaves before long, and that'll give us some more sun, and that'll help. All right, so all of those are done, drip tape inside, all those good things, and they're waiting for our Roma variety. Hated the heat, and it's liking the cool. It's actually kind of getting covered in Roma tomatoes now. I don't know if they'll have time to make, but it did not like the heat. All right, this is what's going in there. We got this beautiful lettuce, broccolis, collards, all the cole crops. Okay, cole crops, C-O-L-E. These are all man-made cultivars, I guess is how you would say it. They are the result of plant breeding, genetic selection, over the years, all from wild mustard. So, for example, broccoli is from wild mustard. It was selectively bred for broccoli flowers. So it was the mustard flower, and now it's broccoli. So that's kind of a lot to try to describe in just a few minutes, but that is why all of these plants start out looking the same, because genetically they are all very close cousins. So even though this one is a broccoli, and this one is a cauliflower, and this one is a cabbage, they all look very much alike right now, and that's just because they are cousins. And we've got lettuce that's looking good. Onions will be for later, but those are in here. So that's what's going to go in this place that we just prepped today. Okay, so it's almost 6 o'clock now. It's going to start getting dark. I don't know that we're going to get many of these plants in, maybe not any of them, but between this evening and tomorrow morning, we'll get those planted out here. We'll start getting that water running on them. So we will have all those good broccolis and all those things before long. Those are 90-day crops, between 60 and 90 days. I can't remember off the top of my head. But that count is going to start when we transplant them. So certain plants, your days to produce is going to be from the time you put the seed in the ground until you harvest. For example, direct sown cowpeas, black-eyed peas, those are from the time you put the seed in the ground until you pick. Things that you typically transplant, for example, tomatoes. If you transplant a tomato and it's a like a 90-day tomato, from the time you transplant it to the ground to the time it makes a fruit is going to be around 90 days. And that's actually a fairly long time for a tomato. That was just the number that popped in my head. But anyways, this is ready. We're excited. We're going to put our little fake electric fence back up to keep the dogs out of it this evening, and then probably get it planted in the morning. I hope y'all enjoyed your visit to the farm. Hope you learned something. Y'all be sure and tell your friends about us, like and subscribe to the page, and come back when you can stay longer.